This is MIP.
God bless you. Good morning. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. Dr. William Barber will join us in the next hour, as well as Mark J. Green of Shadowing Trump. Is the Trump administration running a child trafficking ring or not? We're going to follow Dr. Jason Johnson down the rabbit hole. And this story is important for a couple of reasons. Because as this story went up, April Ryan retweeted it, and the White House lost its mind, and now she's under threat and under attack again. Don't worry about these children. Let's just go after April Ryan. We know how that game is played. Joining us now, both Dr. Jason Johnson and April Ryan. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Jason, why are you trying to get April in trouble, man?
Apparently,
Come on, dog.
I'm glad, Mark. Can you hear me?
I thought he was my friend, right?
I know, right? I thought he was your friend. You got
glad,
April. You got
Mark,
some interesting friends. They turn
many,
on you,
many,
do all
many
kinds
other
of stuff.
Smart people in this country don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe as the Trump campaign, because they're in perpetual campaign mode,
right.
Tried to use a black man's writing against a black woman in the White House press corps.
Wow.
Because it was all a bunch of nonsense. It was all a bunch of nonsense, and clearly it was about them trying to attack April because they didn't want to say nothing to me. They were using it as an excuse to go after her.
Right. They didn't want to come. What were you saying, April?
They're saying on all my social media that I wrote the article. I should have never. I'm like, what? People really just don't read, and I'm saying this is crazy.
Well, specifically, the White House spokesperson.
Life moves on.
Yeah. So what specifically what we're talking about too is is her name Stephanie Grisham? Is that her name?
Grisham, yeah.
Yes.
She
Grisham.
tweeted at you, and folks, we're streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, by the way, folks, so you can see it for yourselves. And what you'll see up on screen is Stephanie Grisham's original tweet at April Ryan. If you're a journalist with many followers and a CNN politics contributor, is it okay to retweet any headline you want, regardless of if it's true? And then you challenge her back. Really? Did you read the story? I guess not, per usual. You and many in the administration work to discredit us in the press. What happens when you all tweet crazy stories? Where is the accountability there? So, April, are you okay? Is CNN messing with you?
No, CNN is not messing with me.
Okay, good. All right.
Why? Nor is American Urban Radio Network.
Good. Okay.
So, I mean, I'm good. CNN has been so behind me. I mean, but with all of us, Mark and Dr. Johnson, you all know this. We have to be very careful because there is a target on our heads. Because if you do not, and I've never seen this before, 21 years in, I challenged George W. Bush. I challenged Bill Clinton. I challenged Barack Obama, but still had a friendly adversarial relationship with them. And this group feels that, they get props by going after me because I'm not considered their base, and it riles up their base. And, Fox likes to go after me for dumb stuff, and they wanted to get clicks, talking about me. But they don't realize they create this atmosphere, this unsafe atmosphere of hate, and I'm not taking it anymore, for me and my family. So is my head on a swivel? Yeah, but you know what? You better know what you're doing if you come after me. That's all I got to say.
Well, let's deal with the story. Jason, what are we saying here? We've got how many children missing as a result of these children are missing and snatched up in some of these ICE raids, right?
Right. So Mark, here's the background of the story that I wrote for The Root. It's like, hey, Trump administration running the child sex trafficking ring or not, follow me down the rabbit hole. And the point of the story is that this is an administration that has, and no pun intended, trafficked in conspiracy theories long before Trump even got into office.
Right.
He said, Obama is from Kenya. I mean, birtherism, all sorts of nonsense that they put out there. And so I was pointing out that I was like, you literally have a human rights crisis happening right now that could easily be turned into a conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. At worst, or at best, it's just another indicator of the white nationalist policies of this administration. And the history of this, the quick background is simply this. Last fall, ICE, right? Immigration control. ICE last year said, hey, White House, can we start getting permission to destroy reports about abuses within ICE, which includes violence against people, solitary confinement, and sexual assaults that happen either from ICE agents or people under ICE's control. So that's how it started.
Right.
The second thing that ended up happening is now you have, Jeff Sessions saying, hey, we're going to, if families come across the border, we will separate parents from their children. And then you have, Health and Human Services saying in a conference, in a Senate conference last month, hey, we've lost 1,500 kids. So I said, hey, look, this could be a perfect setup if somebody wanted to do some child sex trafficking. You got kids coming over, you got them being separated, you got people getting lost. So that was it was satirical. It was meant as a thought experiment and a critique of how you can create these kinds of conspiracies.
Right.
But there are other elements to this that we'll need to talk about, because not only is it a tragedy what this administration is doing, but where those 1,500 kids fall into our larger discussion about immigration is something folks need to understand.
15.
And you know what? Really fast. Since that article came out, Rick Santorum went on CNN talking about how these children, he says they're not lost. There's logical explanations, but sometimes they fall through the cracks. The people who are vetted to care for them may have moved and things of that nature. So there is a real discussion on this. But Dr. Johnson was actually just trying to debunk a lot of these falsehoods and these false narratives that continue to perpetuate the news landscape. And then people are talking about tweet without context. How many times do we just retweet a story? I don't have time to sit there and, this is what this meant, blah, blah, blah. Read.
Yeah,
it's
right.
called reading. It's ridiculous. And I did it as a journalist and as a piece. When I retweet something, it doesn't mean I support it, but it means that it is significant enough to take a look at, and you make a determination. I'm not going to quantify. When I retweet the president, I don't put things in context. I let you be the judge.
Bottom line, though, folks, we don't know where 1,500 children are, right? That's still the bottom line.
Right. And Mark, and I think this is the important thing for people to understand. When we're talking about kids who are coming over the border, right? You've got refugees, you have some people who are coming here illegally, 100 different reasons why people come in this country. You've got those kids who, and we've been dealing with this since the Obama administration, kids from Central and South America who are unaccompanied minors.
Right.
And they're coming here basically as refugees saying, hey, look, I want to come to America. And when those kids are found at the border, they're put into, sometimes they're put into sort of foster care, sometimes they're put with volunteers, sometimes they're put with families, sometimes they're put in what passes for internment camps. There's a bunch of different places where those kids may end up. And then you've got, those are separate from a parent comes over with their children, and if Jeff Sessions says, we're going to separate you from your kids. Here's the issue. This 1,500 kids, and there's a great tweet storm, a thread by, her name is Josie Duffy, I believe.
Yes.
And she tweeted about the fact that, hey, we don't necessarily want, ICE coming after these 1,500 kids because some are with their families. That is true. Some are with their families. Some are, and the families are simply saying, hey, I'm not going to answer the phone anymore because this administration will snatch this kid out of our arms and throw him back to Colombia or whatever it is they're from. The problem is that's not all of them. The problem is there are reports of children being sex trafficked. There are reports of kids being abused. We don't know which of these 1,500 may have come as unaccompanied minors, and we don't know which of these 1,500 may be kids who were separated from their parents. We don't necessarily know that because they can't account for all 1,500 of them, and that's where it's an issue because it speaks to this idea of, one, look, what are we going to do on a functional level about immigrant children and immigrants who come to this country? And two, can we trust an administration that has sworn loyalty ideologically to white nationalism to treat these children fairly regardless of what the policy is?
866-99-SERIOUS, 866-997-4744. Yeah, I was reading Josie Duffy Rice's thread. But let me ask you this too, April. Is it your plan at the White House press briefing today to bring this up to Sarah Huckabee Sanders and try to get some answers?
I don't think we're having a White House press briefing today. So I don't, you never know when it happens. So I don't know.
I should have asked that first at quarter before the hour. Y'all even gonna have one?
Right, exactly. With this
Here's the
administration,
deal.
you never
Here's the
know.
deal. The president's traveling to Nashville today. So
Lord have mercy.
typically when a president travels, it's his word, and that's
That's
it.
right. Okay.
But here's where I am. I'm done. I've said my piece. It is out there in the e-sphere. It's out there everywhere. I mean, I looked at my Google alerts this morning. A lot of stories have been written about it, be it media, be it people. I mean, it's all around. And Dr. Johnson was tweeting that. I was wondering where he was. He jumped in. What was it? Was it Sunday, or I don't even remember the day now. And I just thought it was very interesting. I'm done with it. But I said my piece, and they feel it, because trust me, I know some of the people, some person I don't even know at Fox came after me. And I'm like, who are you? And, with his little 5,000 followers. And I said, okay. So he's like, I just don't get it. No, you don't get it. You guys write a story that's incorrect. You didn't bother to read the story, but going to charge me with something and create an atmosphere. I have made my peace. I've said it. Sarah Huckabee and I have talked about. She's even getting death threats too. So we talk about these things behind the scenes, but I don't do a lot of talking anymore because the tension is there. It's palpable, and it's sad.
You say that they're trying to create an atmosphere of hate.
And that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. And they're creating an atmosphere. There are people out here who are crazy.
Mm-hmm,
and let's just be honest. And with Fox making that, I get all of these text messages and things on my social media. I mean, you should see some of the things. And then we get these emails. I just don't even bother to read them anymore. But what I will do is protect myself and my family. And they're now trying to say I wrote to, because people they want to bring me in. They want to hate me to get their clicks. But I called Fox out, and I rightfully did, because they didn't read the story either.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And they're supposed to be fair and balanced news, please. And then for Stephanie Grisham, the First Lady's press secretary, and when I said I felt bullied, cyber bullied, or bullied, period, I wasn't playing off of Be Best. I do. But, see, here's the thing. They think everyone is scared. I'm not. I've been doing this for 21 years. I know where the bodies are. I know what's going on. Yeah. And I'm writing a book about it. And that's another thing. So after that, I said, okay, you want to play this game? I turned it on them. I said, well, you've given me a lot of promotion to promote my book. And then people tried to say, oh, well, you're just making money. No, I am writing history, because history books will not tell my story. So I'm going to let you know what's going on from my vantage, my unique perch. And then they started saying, oh, it's about money. I said, well, if I'm making money, what about Sean Pfeiffer? He's got a book coming out in a couple of weeks. So the bottom line is, this is my third book. And am I going to tell it? Yes, I'm going to tell it. And there are receipts. And that's what they're afraid of. Trust that. A kid from Baltimore is not playing.
And Mark, I think this is important, and it piggybacks off of what April's saying. It's like, this is the way that the Trump administration operates, because they want us talking about April or my column for The Root, as opposed to their white nationalist policies of trying to kick people out of this country who are not white, trying to prevent refugees who are not white from getting into this country, and the absolute blatant disregard that they have for basic standards of human rights and decency with immigrants. And I think that, and this is important, again, for the audience to understand, regardless of how you feel about immigration, and I'm certainly not an open borders person, I definitely think that the idea of separating parents from their children and putting those children into basically what amounts to internment camps, or, only nominally vetted adults who volunteer, that is dangerous. That is a form of violence. That is an attempt to abuse these people. Yeah. And real talk, it's inefficient.
Yeah.
Why we got ICE agents and police officers having to act like foster parents? Keep those children with their parents, determine whether or not they're going to get refugee status, and then either let them stay here or send them home. But separating them or throwing kids off into programs where you're not going to be able to determine one way or another. Look, if you're going to have a program where you're going to send an undocumented minor to go live with their family somewhere in Indiana and you're not going to check up with them, then why not just let them all in? Because if you're not going to actually find out if their status or their refugee requests are legitimate, then just let the kids in or don't.
Yeah.
But this kind of sloppy policy is a problem.
So what's interesting, Jason, is as they attack you and attack you through April, for even raising this issue. I mean, these were the ones that, with a straight face, said that Hillary Clinton was running a child sex trafficking ring out of a pizza parlor.
Yes. And Mark, exactly. And that was my point. I was like, look, if you want to talk about, Pizzagate and some of the other insane theories that these people have put out, you're telling me ICE is like, hey, let's destroy documents. Jeff Sessions is like, let's separate families from kids, and they'll, oh my gosh, we just lost 1,500. That's a conspiracy for you.
Yeah.
Fox Mulder and Scully are all up onto that one. So, I mean, it's like, look, let's be honest. All of this is created in part by an administration that traffics in lies and nonsense. And then at the same time, and we can't separate ourselves from this. And they definitely, I wrote this last year at The Root. I have said this on the air, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Black women are the Trump administration's kryptonite. They are terrified of black women. They can't even keep the black women they like Omarosa, in the White House because they can't deal with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's
they
one
like
constituency of America that they can't handle, they can't deal with, they can't buy them off, they can't abuse them, they can't kill them all, they can't get rid of them. And so that's why this focus was on April. That's why they went after April, because they know that black women ain't going for the okie doke when it comes to Trump, and they'll use any excuse they can to try to denigrate or attack or marginalize the opinions of a very large and important voting bloc and working bloc in America. That's what it's always been about. Trump will talk about anybody. He ain't never, Trump will talk about a whole lot of people. He's never, ever tweeted about Michelle Obama. You know why? Because the clapback will be a sonic boom.
That's the third rail.
Exactly.
April,
see, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing, though. Dr. Johnson is absolutely right, but I've been there too long and have got the respect of other administrations and that I battled with. I mean, I even had Jay Carney come out and say, I battled with April, but, she was always professional. He tweeted about me the other day. I mean, I still have respect. These people understand this is what we do. But to go to this low this is my livelihood. I studied for this. I stand on the shoulders of our ancestors for this, and you will not tear me down. My mother and father prepared me for this. I have been doing this for 21 years, and you will not take this from me because you want to do something or craft it a certain way. Well, my narrative is my narrative. I'm not going to be like the NFL or the NFL players. I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to have all the press releases out. You're not going to play games with my life and my career and my children. And you just heard my daughter as I'm taking them to school.
Yeah.
This is real. This is about my life. They're trying to kill my career.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And your livelihood.
And if something happens to me along the way, they don't mind either.
And in doing so, harm your children as well. What did Jay Carney say? I was looking for the tweet. I can't find it. What did Jay Carney say about you, April? You said he tweeted about you.
He said something to the effect about my book. He tangled with me, but we always have respect. And he respects me. Jay and I used to be reporters together in that White House basement before he became a press secretary. There is a level of respect, but yet a friendly adversarial relationship.
Yeah.
I have tried to have that with them, but for whatever reason, there's disdain against me from them. And, I still want to interview the President of the United States. I want to ask him various questions. I want to ask him about
You've asked for an interview and it's not been granted, correct?
It's never been granted, but I pray that happens. I mean, why not? I interviewed George W. Bush.
April, let me ask you something, because we're short on time, and I know you got to get the girls to school. Is there any point, though? I know Nicole Wallace on MSNBC inspired me the other day. She said she's not going to read his tweets.
I worked with her, too, and we have great respect for each other.
She's not going to read his tweets on the air anymore. Is there any point to still the daily live coverage of these press conferences and you all going? Is there still any point in doing that?
There is a point. There is a point, because there is a point. There's a thing called transparency, and there's a thing called the free press. And for you, with all of these questions lingering about the legitimacy of the things they say and do, it is good to see the back and forth, the badinage, to see what's happening, to see as much as you can about the inner workings of any White House, particularly when there's such a cloud of doubt over it. So I think the press briefings are the best things that the American public can see. And I'm going to say this to you, Mark, you got to remember, once they quell the press and quell those briefings, it's not about us. It's about the American public that does not get the information. So we have to remember that going. So I am a proponent of those briefings, even if she doesn't call on me. So I'm a proponent of those.
All right. April Ryan, we wish you well today. Be careful, sister. We are in your corner. Dr. Jason Johnson.
I know you are. Thank you.
I know you know we love you, and we'll be right there. We will render impassable anything, any corridor of harm toward you, as James Baldwin said to Angela Davis. Dr. Jason Johnson, thank you for your journalism and your writing. And we still need to continue to ask questions about this. I retweeted the Josie Duffy thread, too, for you all to take a look at. Where are these children? What's going on with them? They should be keeping better track. Somebody even posted a picture of an ICE van that was full of nothing but baby seats. Car seats for babies.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I saw that.
Because that's where they're going to put these kids. And that's just, it is traumatic. It is separation. It will destroy these kids' lives. And for what? And I'm sure you all know about the 20-year-old Guatemalan sister who an ICE agent shot in the head a few days ago. This stuff is getting crazy. Check Jason Johnson, folks, out at theroot.com and on Twitter at Dr. Jason Johnson. April's on Twitter at April D. Ryan. The book Under Fire. That's the current book. Now, you mentioned, is there another book coming out besides Under Fire?
Under Fire is coming out in September. And because of what Fox did, I said, y'all, thank you for the platform. I said, I could not pay for this. The book went to number 1. The release went to and it's not even out yet. I'm like, Fox, I couldn't pay for this. Thank you. So what they do for evil, God for good. Huh?
Amen. Black women kryptonite, y'all. That's April Ryan. Thank you both, okay?
Thanks so much.
All right, and both of
Mark.
you enjoy your day. All right, take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 866-99-SERIOUS, 866-997-4748. The number call. We'll take a break and join us back live on the radio at the top of the hour. Sirius XM Progress 127 Resistance Radio. Get woke, get ready.